Time to go for a little ride on this thing. Turn it on. Put the choke. There we go. My radio's on. See that? I wish I knew how to... Oh, that's how you tune it. This is the original radio, by the way. And we're out. Oh my god, this thing. By the way, this thing, when is on the kickstand, whoo, it is heavy. Let's get out of here. When I first learned about the Honda Goldwing, I was like reading up on it. I was like, man, really? They had these really cool bikes, like retro naked bikes? And I became very fascinated with them. If you are going to buy an old bike specifically, make sure that you bring a trailer, because you don't know what is wrong with it. Tires could be bad, could be engine oil that's messed up. So I checked the oil. It was actually clean. I removed the old oil from the bike, checked the oil filter, and it was fine. It was clean, but I changed it anyway. I put synthetic oil. It's shifting a little bit less smooth than before. I didn't remove the shaft drive oil, and get this, to remove the wheel, for example, you have to remove the pumpkin, the shaft drive pumpkin. That's a really bad design, I think. Yeah, the suspension is really what's bad now. The bike is not even leaking anymore because the previous owner, I guess, overfilled the engine. So hopefully I didn't do any damage riding home, but I don't think so. This engine sounds good, and the transmission shifts really well. High, low, what does that mean? Oh my god, the suspension is so horrid. The top thing I have to do about this bike is fix the rear suspension. It's really unrideable. You can ride it at scooter speeds, but for any spirited riding, no. It's got air in the shocks, but maybe no oil. I'm also running low on gas. I should fill up, but I want to get to Damascus. But man, there's something really cool about riding an old Goldwing. The interesting thing too is, like, when riders that are riding the new Goldwings, they see this thing, they go like, oh my god, is that an old Goldwing? Oh, the brakes. Oh my god, these things are terrible. Second thing on the list, fix the freaking brakes.
Windshield riser in fresh Leamington eliminates rather than just covers up tough odors caused by pets, smoke, or cooking. Ask layman's about their tile and grout stuff. People think you've had it.
Boy, does this bike get hot around the feet. The speedometer, the tach, everything works. The only thing that doesn't work is on the fairing. And it might be that the previous owner disconnected something. The temperature gauge, ambient temperature, is not working. It's got an analog clock, and you hear it tick once the bike is off. This stretch is always nice because it doesn't look like it's part of Maryland. It's got a voltmeter, analog, and then a altitude. I never even paid attention to that. That's kind of, I don't even know how to read that. You see how well this thing accelerates? So strange that this bike from '81 is this good. A little backstory about this particular gl1100. It's registered in Maryland, in Laurel, and just maybe a couple of miles away from me. And the guy that bought it was from Pennsylvania. Bought it from the guy in Laurel. Rode that bike for about 20,000 miles. This bike for 20,000 miles. And then sold it to a guy in Hancock, Maryland, who rode it for 2 weeks. And now it's in my hands. This is the cheapest gas in the area. 3 regular cell, 311. Alright, I got myself some gas. I don't think I filled the entire bike up, but this thing is a, what do you call it? One of those conversation starters. Just at the gas station, the guy over there with the Tundra was like, oh man, I've always wanted one of those. There you go. Yeah, this bike is very interesting, but it's a project. I just find this engine really interesting. Because, you know, BMW also makes boxers, but then you have to tell people that you ride a BMW, and that's just not that cool. You know, somebody tells you what kind of bike you have, gl1100. What is that, a Suzuki? I mean, it's got a nice kick. It's not super fast, but it sure rides well. Look at the brakes. Oh my lord. Brakes are just so bad. I am telling you, this bike does seem to do really well. Lots of torque. You would think that a 1981 bike would not be fun, but this is pretty darn fun to ride. Alright guys, this is the final countdown. Alright, let's look at this bike so you guys can see a little bit about it. Let's put it in neutral. Come on, get in neutral. What gear am I in? Jesus. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sometimes you have to kind of move the bike. Oh my god, it's so difficult to get it in neutral. There we go. It's in neutral. Look at this, the kickstand. It just feels like the bike is gonna flop over. Let's turn it off. By the way, there's two positions for the key. You would think that this is off, but you can't remove it. Turn it this way, you can remove it. And yeah, this is the gl1100 Interstate. Let's do a little bit of a walk around. Of course, this has got the fairing, and it's starting to look a bit like the Goldwings of today, you know, large, but this one, it's pretty small compared to what we have going. Remember, this is 580 pounds. Still a very heavy bike, but nothing compared to the Goldwings of today. This one has got this bag. Look at this. You can put 2 helmets inside this beast. And I don't even know if this key works here. Oh yeah, I guess it does. Nice. Did I even try it? This one's got the top loading. By the way, top loading. Most of these bikes are side loading bags. This one from 81, it's top loading. Honda should have kept doing this. To remove it, it's not on a hinge, so you kind of like lift it, have to put it somewhere, and then put your stuff inside. On this side, you have a cover that you just kind of pop out. I think this is where the battery is. Let's see. And it's just like on those plastic things. Oh, by the way, these things are expensive. You don't want to break them. Yeah, that's where the battery is and some fuses and stuff. So just gotta push it in. It's got 3 points. There we go. One of the things that people do is convert this sort of carburetors into a single carb type of modification. And, before when I got it, it was leaking a little bit of oil. After I changed the oil on it, I put 1540. It stopped leaking. There's like no leaks whatsoever. So it just went away. The drain plug hole, the gasket was plastic, so it was leaking from there. And so I fixed that. I put a brass one, and that seemed to have taken care of it. This one's got a radio by Clarion. It works, but the stations don't get very good reception. And look at this. This is starting to resemble the ST1300. You see this little leather pouch? Very cool. And look at this. It's got a cigarette lighter, like in a car. Just so crazy. And then you have your choke right here. Pull it out to start it. You have 2 speakers that are connected to the bike. So let's turn it to the on position. And
so how do you beat the traffic?
Well, you could leave next Wednesday and get out the door.
Radio still works. Pretty amazing.
Conveniently.
And it's got a CB antenna as well that I don't know how to work. And look at this. All the lights work. The blinkers are integrated into the bags. So that's a nice feature. And on this right side, you get access to the valve to put air in the rear suspension. I did that. That was 40 psi, so it was fine. There's something wrong with the shocks. I'm going to have to look at that. But look at the engine. 4 cylinders. Easy to service. Doesn't need anything. And, this plastic was already fixed. There's like some silicone on the inside. Brakes are just terrible. They're 1 piston brakes. You need good braking for this, so I'm going to have to look at it. Let's see. It's kind of hot. Look at that. These disc brakes don't have any holes for ventilation at all, or whatever it's used for. So it's kind of weird to see a solid disc brake. I believe this is the original front master cylinder. It's a little bit low, so I'm going to have to look at that. I'm going to order steel braided brake lines and put them in there. So on the gauges, you have your speedometer, odometer, trip with the usual thing to flip. You have your temperature, you have your fuel, turn signals, high beam, neutral, oil, tach, everything works, ignition. And then up here, this is interesting. Look at this. Alt, and then you rotate this. It's like, what the hell is this for? I have no idea what this is. And it's pointing. So you just flip this. Alt 000 feet. By Honda. Voltmeter. Then you have a timer. And by the way, this makes that chick, chick, chick when it's off. And then you have a temperature gauge for the ambient. And it's stuck on 100. You also have these vents here. You can close them. I guess this would bring heat onto the rider, or maybe cool. Don't really know. The seat, though, really comfortable. Even now, look at that. Perfect condition. Alright, let me show you this. Gas cap. This is the wiring for the Bluetooth speakers, but you have fuses there, your airbox, your fuel tank. The fuel tank's underneath. That's your coolant water bottle, and it's full. And that's the gl1000, gl1100. They had a faux gas tank in the front. Oh, by the way, also a lockable glove box. Oh, do you take it out? Look at that. You take it out. Anything in there? Nope. It's really kind of amazing. We have come a long way. We have come a long way, but I'm having fun with this bike. Look at it. It's an amazing little bike. 1100. You know, a lot of bikes are 1100s now. 1200s. I mean, the GS. What, 1250 or whatever? I think I'm going to do the alternator or the belt. Change the belt on there. Just make sure that it's okay. I think doing the preventive maintenance is really what's important. What people... Oh my God, this thing is so heavy to put on the wheels. The bike, it's got a very low center of gravity, but the kickstand is just so low. Listen to this purr. Yeah, I mean, it fires right up. You know what, I might like turn on my Bluetooth speaker so you guys can see. I really would like to get this one to work.
Who is excellent at lawyering, but who wants to be part of the heart of your business.
Oh my God.
I really knew early on.
That's the stock radio. That's not the Bluetooth one.
As part of our beating heart,
isn't that awesome?
us make sure we do legal well.
Isn't that awesome? Oh my God.
Sort of a woven
I could go down the road annoying people.
ethos of the company.
First off, Sherman Rogers at ShermanRogers.com. Farmers Restaurant.
All right, squids, that's the end for today. The ride on the gl1100. Stay tuned. I'm going to be fixing this thing up, getting it all sorted out, hopefully. And there'll be plenty more of these videos coming around. But I'm enjoying this bike. Really cool. It's a blast from the past. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.